Hey guys, Marty Boots here. Today I just want to make this video, and it's going to be the first video in a three-part series of our altcoins dying. And I just want to look at micro cap and small cap stocks in the stock market who have had catastrophic 90+% moves down to the downside, and how did they recover, and what do we need to look at if companies are going to collapse, and how are they going to recover if they're not going to collapse. Now, as you all know about Enron and the fraud and everything else that caused the company to die, it collapsed in 2002, 2001, 2002, and it stayed alive for a couple of years and then eventually died. This was obviously big news related, and the company, died after that, a while after that. Now, there's things that we do not know at the moment, like if we will go into another financial crisis, and if we go to another financial crisis, a lot of the altcoins will die. But for the ones that do not die, we need to look at here what patterns and what we need to see on the chart to see if this company is going to survive, so we can invest in it and make life-changing money over the longer period. So I'll just start here, and I'm basing most of this off the monthly charts. You can see here, back in the tech bubble, PetMed, it collapsed 99%, and everybody at the time thought it was going to die. But as you can see, it recovered, and when price got back above the 9 yellow EMA on a monthly basis, this was a sign that the company was not dead and it was probably going to survive. If it didn't fall into the abyss down here on the lows, this is a good sign if it's going to survive. And pardon me. And the key signal here was after it got above the 9 and the 20 EMA on the monthly basis, price consolidated and finally broke out. This was obviously a long-term buy back in 2002. So it took a few years. It did take a couple of years, from 2000, December 2000, really, until March 2002. So a year and a half roughly, before it actually came out of that crisis. And a lot of these altcoins could potentially be the same. But the key takeaway from this is that we need to find coins that are on a monthly basis able to get back above the monthly EMA. Now, the weekly EMA is good, but unless it's going to get above the monthly EMA, it's not really shown to have long-term sustainability in the uptrend. And this is building good structure here, probably on a weekly basis and on a monthly basis, and the structure is solid, and then it finally breaks out. So you can see here, I just wrote about that. For long-term holds and life-changing money, we need these altcoins, and we need to be searching for altcoins that are able to get above their 9 and 20 EMA for long-term holds, to make life-changing money. And you can see here on PetMed, is that for 45,000, 451,000%, to the highs. Don't get me wrong, that is over a 15-year period or so. But like, some of these altcoins will be able to do that if we can get above the monthly moving averages, and that's not even catching the low, I don't think. I have that from the low, but even from where it got above the monthly EMAs is life-changing money. It's important to note here as well, the RSI. When the RSI gets back up to the 50, you can see that it rejects here. Even though price is the first time breaking above the moving averages, it rejects the RSI. And it's only when we bullishly consolidate under the 50 on the RSI and finally break out above the RSI on the 50 monthly, that price can resume its bullish uptrend. So that is key to look out for, the RSI breaking above the 50. I just want to move on here because the video is going to be quite long here. It's probably going to be a 20-minute video, but I'll try and keep it as short as possible. You can see here ICN again. It's had that drop. I don't know why I have that here, but it is another 90% drop or whatever. So you can see here again. I've wrote OMG right now. I need to look into that again. I forget now why I wrote that. It must look similar to OMG, but I think OMG is on a weekly basis that it looks like this. But again, you can see after that catastrophic drop, and everybody thought it was going to die back after the tech bubble, and it was only when price got above the monthly moving averages, the 9 EMA, that this coin or this stock actually was in with a shout. You can see the first time it got above the moving averages, you know, this is a 200% move, plus 200% move, and then it came back down, and obviously the second time was when it went into the bull market. So as good as the coins look, this study that I've done and this research that I've done, it basically shows that we cannot go into a bull market properly in altcoins unless we get above the monthly moving averages. So that is key to take note out of this. Now some of them are more on the weekly, but the monthly shows a true uptrend. You can see here again, after a 90% drop or whatever it was, again the monthly moving averages were key. You know, again, even we broke above it here, we had a huge spike, but it didn't hold because it was in the downtrend. That was a dead cat bounce at this point. And you can see we were rejected off the moving averages and went lower. The blue is the 50 and the white is the 100 moving average. The red is 200 moving average. So price got above the 9 EMA and 20 EMA, and then we went into a bull market, even though we consolidated. And the reason we consolidated here for a long period of time is because price was not above the 200 monthly moving average. So price really, the moving average needs to be, the 200 moving average needs to be below price to start forming a true uptrend. And that's important to note. Again, this is choppy action. I think the reason I put into this is because, you know, even though we did get above the moving averages here, just let me move this. Is this, yeah, this is a monthly basis. The price was not above the 200. The 200 is not even on this chart because it's an early chart. So, like, altcoins are pretty similar. Well, not similar to this. This is a monthly chart, but what was I going to say about it? It's, you know, the trend. So I should have mentioned this earlier. Now I remember now why I put this on it. Let me just go back just to make this clearer. Now you can see the trend is, I want to find a good example. Yes, here's a better example. So you can see that this downtrend of the moving averages, and they all converge together, and it allowed price to break up above. This is key. This is what we need, and this is what we want to find, because we're allowed to break above them easily and form an uptrend. If we see stocks like this, the moving averages are all over the place, and it's very hard for them to get above and follow the trend properly. There will be other examples on that, but this is not a good setup, is what I'm trying to say. This is bad, but you'll get to see more of that in a minute. This is perfect. This is what I was looking for. Look at how the moving averages, we were able to get above all moving averages here on a monthly basis, because the trend before that kind of consolidated and allowed them moving averages to pinch together, so to speak, and then freely break above them. So all moving averages are below price, This is the perfect setup. This is exactly what we need. And this is actually what happened altcoins in the bull run in 2017. They consolidated and allowed the moving averages to end up getting below price, and they were allowed to trend higher above all moving averages. This is the perfect setup, and this is what we need. If I look back at this, you can see this is totally different. This is a bad setup. This is exactly what we need, and this obviously shows altcoins are not dying. Again, this is another perfect setup. You can see here that the moving averages, the 200, we were not above it yet, but price was drifting lower, consolidating, and it allowed price to break above all moving averages, and this formed a true uptrend. Now this is a weekly basis on this chart. I'm not sure why I have the weekly basis. I can flip to the monthly and you can see as well. So you can see it coincided, which is very important. It coincided with the monthly moving averages. And this is because we consolidated for a long time to allow moving averages to pinch together, so to speak, to allow price to get above them. So you can see the weekly and monthly coincided, and you can make life-changing money when this happens. I'm comparing this to BTC monthly from memory. I put these together a couple of days ago, but I'm only doing the video now. But these moving averages are, you can see the space in between them. This is a weekly chart. Now, maybe I will just bring Bitcoin up here just very quickly. I probably should have had this. I should have had this done already. Oh God, look at that. What a mess on the chart. You can see that space. Look at the space here. Now this is a weekly chart that I'm comparing to. I said compared to the monthly. But look at the space here as price breaks above these moving averages. The space between these moving averages. Look at the space between Bitcoin's moving averages. This is a sign of a strong trend. The way that price is able to break up above these moving averages, you can see we've done that here, and it's very, very similar. I'm not sure now why I put the monthly on it. I think I meant to write weekly because it's not the same setup. But you can see here that this is what is good to look out for also, and price breaking above. And then when it finally got up, you can see it was above all moving averages, and we had a bit of a bull run. Now it was choppy, but I just wanted to compare that to the Bitcoin chart, and you can see that here, these space between the moving averages, and this is a key factor in a start of a bull run. Again, look at the space between the moving averages after a 90% drop, 85% drop. The space in these moving averages, and you can see it's just chugging higher, and when we finally got above them, and we just trended. Notice the trend. We just trended higher. This is very possible for Bitcoin to do. Just trend higher and higher. Everybody's waiting for this dip back to 4,200. We may not get that. And if I show you on a monthly basis here where these two lines are, if the chart would load here. Oh my God, I don't know why it's not loading here. Sorry guys, no idea why it's not loading. But the monthly coincided, this break here coincided with breaking above monthly moving averages also. So it's just key to note. It's not loading. I'm just going to move on. The video is going to be too long. Now I've got EOS here. EOS had a 90% drop. Look at the space between the moving averages. This is key in the start of a bull trend at times. Now it's not the perfect setup, but it still has potential to push price higher. If you noticed in the last ones, the space in these moving averages as it just chugs along, and keeps breaking above them, and it can allow trend to just continue higher. Here is another monthly setup. The companies do not matter. I mean, Cinex Corp or whatever, but these are just small cap stocks that are similar to crypto back in the day. You can see they're down here at $10 and $20, some of them at $5 or whatever. But monthly, once we broke above the monthly moving averages, you can see what happened. The trend went from $10 to $130. Now that's 1,300% profit. But it emphasizes that we need to be above all moving averages on the monthly chart for a proper bull run. Now I've put XRP in here. I'm just going to flip to the monthly very quickly. I think there was something, yeah. So the moving average, the 50 moving average is below on the monthly chart, which is good support, and it's down here at about 24 cent. And this 24 cent is what I was looking to buy at. Now, you can see here on the weekly chart, the 200 moving average is support and price. And this is the exact same setup as how Bitcoin bottomed. Bitcoin fell right into the 200 moving average on the weekly chart, and this held, and then we went into the bull run. Now, to me, this chart looks like we are going to form, where is my drawing tool? Bloody hell, sorry guys, cannot find this drawing tool. To me, this looks like we are going to maybe form a rounding bottom and maybe go higher. That mightn't be drawn perfectly, but you get the idea. Because this weekly 200 moving average should hold with the 50 down below it, and it's good support down in this range, and it looks to be rounding. It looks to be having a rounding bottom, and we all know what rounding bottoms do. Bitcoin had a rounding bottom, so to speak, and this has a rounding bottom. And if you notice as well, look at this. This is almost like an Adam and Eve pattern. This potentially is an Adam and Eve bottom, just like Bitcoin had. And it's not played out yet, but you can see the V, and then the next pattern is not quite as V-shaped and more rounded. So if we can get some action here, XRP could be in the process of actually putting in a bottom. So we need to watch that carefully. And I think XRP can go to $1. Maybe sometime this year. Month. It's very possible this year. I think XRP will be up at $1. So we need to be looking for a buy on this, in my opinion. VTC, this is a crypto coin as well. Now, I just put this in here because it shows the trend going sideways, allowing us to break above the monthly moving averages again, the 9 and the 20 EMA. And this is when you can make life-changing money, when it gets above that, and you need to be buying here for the bull trend. But if you look where we are right now, these moving averages are just coming down. It is very similar to here. It looks like we are like here in the trend on this, because these moving averages need to come down and consolidate to allow price to firmly break above these moving averages for a bull trend. And I thought this was a good example, but there is a possibility that we are here. So there may be like another, well, it's a monthly basis. I'm not saying it's going to be another year or two, but the trend might just need to consolidate. These moving averages might need to consolidate and come down for price to be able to break above them. So that's what we need to look out for. So in my opinion, these coins are not dying unless, we get a financial crisis or anything else. But we need to be watching these coins dropping and consolidating under the moving averages to allow us to break above and move higher. There's no evidence that these coins are dying just yet. So we need to watch for these setups. Again, here, this is a weekly chart. And it looks really good because we're consolidating on a weekly, below on a weekly, and then you can see the breakout. But if I take you to a monthly chart, the monthly chart does not look as good. You can see the 20 moving average just formed here. So in my opinion, like, even this looks like crypto, and this is why I've put this in here. It's a stock market coin, or a stock market stock. But in my opinion, this is not ready for a bull run. And it looks like a lot of crypto coins. We had that move up into the moving average, and then we pull back. So in my opinion, this is not ready for a bull market, and it looks like crypto coins. Here again, you can see the trend on a monthly chart. We broke above the moving averages on a monthly basis. So you can see that trend. It's a beautiful trend. PDN, my mate actually made a couple of $100,000 on this years ago. But you can see here, I don't want to zoom in, it's taking too long here, but you can see price finally got above all moving averages and the trend higher. That was a massive move higher, but you can see the bull trend once we got through them all. Now we need to be careful here, because there is similarities here to crypto in this downturn. So this is a dead cat bounce, and we broke back below all moving averages on a monthly basis. If we start breaking below 200 moving averages on a monthly basis, I know we won't see these monthly basis or monthly moving averages on crypto for a long time, but if we can do it on a weekly chart, if we start breaking below weekly 200 moving averages, we need to stay the hell out of them. We do not want to be in them, because the trend will likely to continue lower. So it's a warning sign. It's a bad warning sign. And DGB here is an example of that. Well, we were breaking below the 50 week. Is this weekly? It must be weekly. Oh, this is monthly, yeah, because DGB is one of the older coins. So we have just broke below the 50 on a monthly chart. This is a warning sign. So we just need to be wary of that. And these moving averages look like they want to come down lower. So these coins look like, this coin looks like it can still go lower. But again, you can see when price broke above all these moving averages, the big spike in the bull market. Nearly finished here, guys. What am I looking at here? Yeah. Okay, so I feel that this is pretty important. This is a bearish candle, and this is a bearish candle on the DAX on a 6-month basis. But notice the yellow 9 EMA. We are in a strong uptrend. Now look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is in a strong uptrend, and we had the exact same 6-month candle. And just like on the DAX, it is holding and we're pushing higher. And this is holding and we're pushing higher. Now, I don't know if these stock markets are topping out right now or not. This is a bearish candle indicating that we should go lower at some point. And that's what I had thought on Bitcoin. But for the moment, it is very similar to the DAX, and we are pushing higher. So we need to see if this is going to hold. There is the potential, because this is a bearish candle. There is a potential in the future Bitcoin will roll over and go to new lows, because this is not a healthy candle. But for the time being, if we can stay above this moving average, which is 4.2, the level is 4.2 as well, which coincides with a really strong support. We may have a chance of going higher, but this is a bearish longer term candle, 6-month candle. Again, there's just an example of a silver, First Majestic Silver, and you can see it was down here at a couple of dollars. It was even down here at $1.31, and it rallied up to $26. But this is a weekly chart, and you can see we got above all moving averages on a weekly chart, and the bull run happened. And now at the moment we've broke below, and we may continue lower. Let me just check the monthly chart here. So the monthly and the weekly coincided together. You can see here the monthly and the weekly coincided together, and you can see this space on the moving averages on the monthly chart. When we broke above that space on the moving average, a lot of these coins are looking like that right now, like EOS and stuff are looking very similar to that. Look at this. we had the spaces and we're getting above. Um, if I bring you back here, so it's a little bit similar, and we need consolidation to prove that these moving averages can hold. I'll just go back to EOS again. There is a potential here that EOS needs to consolidate here, and then it'll go into a bull run. You know, it looks like the bottom is in on EOS, and it looks like we do want to consolidate here and move higher. This spacing in the moving averages is key, and I'll take you back here again and show you. And it is key. Now there wasn't a 50 monthly moving average there, but and look at the space here, space here, space here. It's a sign of a strong trend. Now if I go back to the weekly, I know this is a long video, guys, but I feel it's important content. This will be the longest video in the series, because this gives us groundwork and structure to work off. So yeah, we broke above here on the all moving, well, not all moving averages, but we did trend higher. But the reason we were able to push through these weekly moving averages, the 200 moving averages, was because on the monthly chart, which is a bigger, more important time frame, had set up and allowed us to push through, which then negated price. It negated the weekly moving averages on the weekly chart. You can see here we just blew through them, but the reason we blew through them was because the monthly chart had set up, and the monthly chart trumps the weekly chart. So this is another example of it's a decay. It's not a dying stock. It probably will die eventually, but it'll probably get renamed and recalibrated. What's the word? I forget now. But a stock split sort of thing. But you can see here, as price, it's decay. So this will probably never go back higher. This is a leveraged 2x short fund, but you can see the decay. As long as price stays below the moving average, you know, you're going to continue lower on a monthly basis. You're not going to move higher. So it's very important to note that we do not want to be buying long term unless we have the setup. So that's it, guys. That's it for the video. I know it's nearly half an hour, but I feel this is very important content. I thought I had Bitcoin there somewhere I was going to look at, but you know, at the moment we can see here that Bitcoin, there's nothing wrong with Bitcoin here, and in my opinion, now I might be jumping the gun here, but from the setup here, and look at the weekly moving averages, it's still holding, and it's pretty good, and this is going to start rising higher, and we may drop back down at some point and test this weekly 200 moving average at some point. Who knows? But it will be higher than it is now, and a lot of people are putting maybe too much weight into this area of resistance. Don't get me wrong, it's massive, but we can potentially blow through this if you understand and look at the structure of the moving averages and stuff. All we need to do is consolidate here for a month or whatever, and then we can maybe trend higher. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. The video is almost half an hour long, but this is the first part in the series, and I hope that builds good structure. The next time I will look at altcoins and look to see are they dying, and what we need to do to find long-term investments. So anyway, guys, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.